It's time to tell you the story of my situationship that lasted 3 months, just finished, and also how I am getting over it, okay? So I met this man in December. He was initially giving me a lot of effort, okay? We went to comedy shows, we went out to dinners, like so much effort very quickly right away. He sent me flowers, like yada yada, okay? Me and this guy have a mutual. Let's call this mutual Vic, okay? Her name is Vic, and they know each other from school or something, I think, and he had asked me how I know her. I was like, oh, we're just mutuals. And he was like, oh, like, cool, she's my friend, like, blah, blah. Long story short, one time me and this guy are hanging out, and we were getting really close, and he's saying, oh, you know, because he had found my podcast, but he hadn't found my TikTok or my YouTube. And he was like, you know, you should start your podcast again. Like, and I was like, yeah, I'm just kind of looking for a co-host. And he was like, oh, well, what about Vic? And I was like, yeah, like, I guess someone like that, right? He's like, okay, let me call her. I am asking to call her. He calls her. I'm in the room, but I'm like sitting like a few feet away from him. And she picks up the phone and he starts talking to her like I'm not there. I'm in the room, but I'm immediately made to feel like I can't speak. Do you know what I mean? So I am sitting there like kind of taken aback. That's never happened to me before, where somebody calls someone that I sort of know but don't really know. And then I'm just like meant to be silent while they talk to them. Anyways, he basically, it's very much Mean Girls in the sense of he baits her into talking shit about me. I don't think he meant to do that, but he asked her what her opinion of me is. And she starts saying not nice things. Not nice things considering she followed me. She's in my comment sections. She followed me on Instagram not that long ago. And I thought that she liked me based on her behavior. This was not my initiation or being mutuals. You know what I mean? At least, not that I remember, but I just know that she was really in my comment sections when this was happening, and I found it very odd. Okay? So she said something not so nice about my content. Really not on her, more on him, the fact that he didn't tell her that I was in the room. Because he was like, would you collab with Kira? And she was like, no. And continued to say some not so nice things. That hurt my feelings. Not just that she said that, but but that even happened. Because that didn't need to happen. I didn't need to be in the room for that conversation. I didn't ask to. And then after the fact, I was trying to tell him why that upset me, and he just didn't seem to want to give a fuck. He didn't seem to want to care that that made me uncomfortable, what that reminded me of in regards to my content. Like, he didn't seem to care, and I had explained myself away very articulately and very in a vulnerable state. I was being very vulnerable and honest, and he listened to it, and he was like, yeah, but I know her, she didn't mean it like that. When that was not the point. The point went all the way over his head. It wasn't even really about her. It was about how it made me feel. And he's all, oh, I'm logic. I'm not emotional. So I don't think about those kind of things, right? Then he ends up apologizing. I go home. I was crying because I was really upset by his reaction also. End up going home. The next day, he tries to make up for it, taking me to a comedy show. We have an amazing time. We have an amazing time at this comedy show. I love going to comedy. We went to a few comedy shows together. It was like kind of our thing. Okay, it's like 2, 3 a.m. after a comedy show. We're like, you know, obviously having a good time, like in a vibe, whatever. We go to this Ethiopian restaurant across the street. I swear to God, it's 3 a.m. We just ordered food and drinks. He looks at me and he says, so about what Vic said about your content. It's 3 a.m., buddy. Like, I was so put off and taken aback. And he's a Sagittarius, so he was very inflammatory for me. And I need somebody who's soothing, and he was very inflammatory. Every single situation where he could have been calming, he chose to be inflammatory. He chose to be aggravating. And, like, he just picks at things. And I tried to explain this to him. I was like, what is logical about bringing up a situation that I told you hurt my feelings, that we already discussed, you already apologized for, at 3 a.m. after we just had a good time and made up for that incident? What is logical about that? Just because you don't... if he doesn't understand why you feel a certain way and he thinks he wouldn't feel that way in a situation, you're getting yelled at. And I felt like he would get angry when I was getting emotional, but he would reel me back in because it looked like he cared a lot, and he would like always make up for it, and he would like, I don't know. And then when I went for my birthday in LA, he sent like a big gift, like 2 cakes, 2 things of cupcakes, big flowers, wine, card, everything. Like we literally took that cake to, sorry, it's golden hour, so the lighting is weird, okay? He literally we took that cake to the restaurant to eat, and all my friends were so impressed, and they were like, do you like him? And I was like, yeah, I do. And they were like, do you think it's gonna work out? And I was like, no, I don't. I don't think he has the capacity to handle me emotionally. I think that's what I said. In addition to that, this is the guy that I made the workout video about. He's a runner. We had made plans to hang out. He said we were gonna go to a coffee shop and take a walk, and I was excited for that because I had a lot to talk about because I had had a really bad week. And he calls me while he's on his run saying, hey, I'm just gonna run to your house because if not, I'm too tired to come over. Which I just, at that point, I was getting really tired of the, I'm too tired to hang out because I'm running, because that, like, his whole life is like work, home, run, which is fine. But then I don't understand if you care about someone, because this is something I would do. If I care about someone and I have things to do that are movable in the day, such as a run, I'm gonna do it before 5 p.m. so I can hang out with this person after 5 p.m. I'm not gonna call them at 4 p.m. like, hey, like I just started my run. And he was like, well, I had other things to do. I had other things to do. Okay, then don't say that you can go to the coffee shop and go for a walk, because I literally asked him on the phone. We talked about this on the phone, and he was like, yeah, that should work. And I said, that should work or it will work? He said, ha ha ha, that works. Do you know why I asked that? Probably because I started to not trust him. And he also was one of those guys that is like, well, this only happened once. Why is it such a big deal? It only happened once. How many times does it need to happen before I can like be validated in bringing something up that bothers me? Because I don't subscribe to womanhood as martyrdom and womanhood as sitting on things and allowing yourself to get hurt and being like, oh, they didn't mean it that way. That's not me. That's not me. That's a lot of people. It's not me. You bother me, I'm saying it. Look at this. There's a reason this is here. So yeah, and like I also noticed he like, before he kissed me, he like got handsy. And that bothered me because there's an order to this shit. Do you know what I mean? And I started to think back about all the things that bothered me about our interactions, and just like, I remember one time I was crying and he was like, what the F are you crying about? Just like that, but really harsh. And I was like, is this how you deal with emotional people? Like, that to me makes no sense. To speak to someone like that you care about when you're crying. Anyways, yeah, he ends up running to my house and just sitting in this chair for an hour and being on his phone, and then being like, okay, I better go. And that really bothered me because, first of all, he didn't even say that he had changed the plan. And I was really looking forward to like just having a real like quality time together where we could talk and like go to a coffee shop and I could talk about my week and connect and all these silly things that girls want to do when they're trying to be romantic or a hopeless romantic or whatever. I don't know, seeking connection. And I don't like that A, he threw that away again for a run, B, that he didn't even find the courtesy to say that, C, that we had already confirmed. I had made sure about this on the phone because I had a feeling I didn't like it. And I don't like that. And he's like, but this is the first time this has happened. And I was like, no, there were so many times when he would be like, yeah, we should hang out this time. And then the day would come and he'd be like, you know, I'm probably gonna be really tired from my run. So then why? I don't know. I wanna be somebody's like actual priority enough that I was working all that Sunday that happened where he canceled the date for the run, and I just don't see why you can't. If you really, really care about someone, you're gonna make it work. You're not gonna be a dick like that. I thought it was rude. I thought it was rude. I thought it was disrespectful, and it was on the heels of a bunch of other oh my gosh, disrespectful things. You know what I mean? So, like, not a bunch, but enough. And then so I have been you know, opening up the availabilities again, because I kind of wasn't really trying to date anyone else at that time when I was seeing this person. It was like 3 months. You know, I've been meeting more people in person. Like, I don't know, it's not very hard to find people right now, in my opinion, and a lot of people are looking for something. That's what I found. And something I love to, a little phrase I have is like, there's always another bus and there's always another person to date, because there really is. And you know, the proper advice is to, you know, meditate and be with yourself and think and reflect, whatever, which is fine. And if you want that, you know where to find it. But in my personal experience, it sometimes helps to show yourself what else is out there and how it's better, because it really will be clear very quickly that there is better and other out there. And that's what I've done, and I really don't miss that guy at all. Like, not at all. In fact, I also make a pros and cons list. You know what, this should be a full separate video, and I will make this, going into depth about how to get over a situationship, but make a pros and cons list about everything that bothered you. The cons list will be very long. The pros list will be under 8, and you will just remember that they weren't your ideal. You know, they were 5'11", okay? They were almost. I'm 5'10", so 5'11" is fine. It's not 6'2", you know what I mean? He lived out of the city and was complaining about how he thought I might have been using him for his money. Honey, you don't even live alone. You don't even live alone. You don't live in the city. You don't have a car. I have those things. What? It's always the ones who don't, or have some, they're afraid because they don't have enough to give, that they're worried about if you all of a sudden want them for them. No, because the guys with money never talk like that. Because guess what? They're around. And that's what I'm saying. Go on other dates, because you'll notice, like, there are guys who are more generous and who are just less complaining about it. Like, I don't need the drama. I don't need the drama and insecurity projected onto me, because no, I'm not using you for your money. Are you silly? If I was using you for your money, you would be a millionaire. If you're not a millionaire, don't assume that I'm using you for your money, because I dropped the millionaire who's being rude to me because I wasn't using him for his money, and I'd rather have somebody who's nice to me. So don't disrespect me like that, because then I just look at you different. And I think I probably was starting to look at this person different and losing respect in a certain way, even though I still felt connected to them. But I also think I just attach trauma bondy, you know? So that's what happened with that. Let me know if you would like a full video on how I get over situationships, because I definitely have some insight, I would say. And I really don't miss this person. I feel fine. I've been spending a lot of time with my friends, like, and talking shit with your friends. That also really helps. It makes everything so much better. And making videos about it and journaling about it. That's the short list, but I have a long list. I have an in-depth list. So let me know below if you would like to see it or hear it. I'm gonna try and start making videos every day this week. I have some extra time off, so I need to get back into the YouTube grind, and I appreciate you for watching and for being here. You know I love you. You know I love you. Bye.